Hello, beautiful people. So I haven't done a video about Michelle Obama and her hair in a cool minute. Okay, but you guys know that I am not new to this topic. I am true to this topic. So if you are a black girl, if you're a black girl, if you're a black girl, if you're a black girl, and you have ever felt the pressure to make yourself feel smaller or shrink or smooth yourself out, straighten, dare I say, yourself out so that other people can handle you, this video is for you. I've been doing funny commentary videos, joking, but also kind of serious, about Michelle's hair for over a decade now. So, when she got on that stage with Tracee and she point blank said that we be straightening our hair for white beauty standards and how it's trapped us for generations, I was like, oh, we about to tell the truth on today. Oh my God. So I wanted to do a video because I really feel like what Michelle said is not just true about our hair. If you're being honest, Black woman, um, and it's not intentional. You know what I mean? A lot of us could admit that a lot of our life choices could be a reflection of choices made for the white gaze to survive, to perform, respectability, bypassing, palatability, exhaustion, all of it. Okay, spoiler. This whole video is going to talk about the fact that your freedom begins to come when you stop contorting yourself for other people's comfort. So let's spend a little time. Let's go back on memory lane. Yes, I'm going to play some of my old videos. And let's talk about the chick on Threads. Let's talk about Michelle Obama, what she said to Tracee Ellis Ross. Let's talk about the history, some miseducation of the youths. Okay, the actual audacity, some clarity, some liberation, and some freedom to stop performing. If you are new here, hello, my name is Rashni Cope, also known as Glamazini. I am a certified life coach and a content creator. I help Black women heal, amplify their gifts, and create lives that they love that wildly love them back. If that's you, boo-boo, welcome. Hi, Daniela. You said good evening. And so wherever you are, it's evening. It's afternoon for me here in sunny St. Louis, although it's wildly cold today. If you're watching, I'm live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Drop a pineapple emoji in the chat. Let me know where in the world you are watching from. I don't know what happened to St. Louis today, but I walked outside in my little TikTok shop sweater and I was taken aback. Okay, so y'all get cozy because I got media, I got videos and stuff to play for you, and I hopefully have it all set up. Okay, before we start, do not forget that the Create Your Life virtual planning retreat plus 10-month coaching incubator, meaning 10 months after the planning retreat of monthly accountability calls, starts on December 12th. Okay, you can find out more about it by visiting the link below, glamazini.com. You can also go to bit.ly/virtual planning retreat to learn more, to read the testimonials, to join the next cohort. More on that later. All right, so let's talk about Michelle Obama. Okay, Shelly, and what Shelly has said. What Shelly has said. Hey, Celeste, thank you for my pineapple. Okay, this is about to be a good one, you guys. I actually was going to do this video last week, but y'all see last Friday I went missing in action. So let's talk about it, okay? I have been Glamazini out here on Glamazini's internet for a really long time. And I've been talking to Black women about our hair forever, okay? Way long back, a long time ago, like that one content creator says. In 2017, I had a viral video about what Michelle Obama's hair was really telling us with the first inauguration of -45. Remember back then when he was promising that Mexico was going to pay for a wall? Remember that? And they had actually voted that man in, and Michelle showed up. And I had some thoughts on my chest and I wanted to talk about it, okay? So if you've been here with me since those days, hey girl, thanks for the support. All right. If you're new here, welcome. Around here, I talk about things like healing and your nervous system and life creation and mental health and all this good stuff and advocacy. But listen, I also read the room. And sometimes for me, the room is Michelle Obama's hair. Let's talk about it. So, quick throwback to 2017, where I said a whole entire mouthful about Michelle and her hair at -45's first inauguration. Matter of fact, guess what we're gonna do? We're about to watch the video. You guys, roll. I hope you guys can hear it. When I start playing, let me know if you can hear it in the comments, okay? This was a video I put up in 2017.
That is a side eye.
Whoops, that's not the one.
Okay, we've seen Michelle before. Michelle,
let's start it over.
She didn't even do her hair for the inauguration. Every black girl know what that means. Okay, when I saw her on the inauguration, I was like, girl, that is a side eye with your hair. Okay, we've seen Michelle before. Michelle hair stayed laid. Okay, her hair or her wig, because you know she be popping on them wigs, stays laid. She got like laydness. That heifer did this. This was Michelle for the inauguration. The entire inauguration. She barely gelled it down. Okay? She barely put on some edge control. And every black girl know what that means. It means we ain't here for you. Okay, wasn't that like a piece? She went in the back of her closet. Not even the closet. She went into the drawer in the bottom in the back and pulled out that old ponytail piece from 95. Okay? And just clipped it on the back. Barely matched the texture on the front. Didn't even care. She was like, everybody know this means I don't care. And she ain't combed her hair since then. I know she ain't. Okay, that's why she had the hat on in the little video we saw, because her hair like this. Okay, she and Barack doing what she and Barack need to do. Okay, Barack got her like this, and she on the beach, and she probably the color of my pants. She probably this color. Too flat. Exactly, Davis 52. Okay, y'all saw her hair during the inauguration. She was like, I'm done, I'm out. I'm not even gonna do my hair for y'all. This is a subliminal message being sent, okay? I'm still Michelle from Chi-Town. Y'all ain't about to have me out here stressing over this foolishness with my hair, okay? I saw her hair, I was like, she didn't even go get, nowadays, Eva's wigs, RPG show, they got the good pieces. They got the good hair pieces that you can add on the back that look seamless. Okay, she went and got that hair piece that the lady at church been wearing since 87. That one that's just one big bump, and it's just like a back comb, just stick right here. You put a ponytail back, you just stick it on top, and like this part isn't shiny, and then this part's kind of shiny. No, she didn't. Yeah, she had her beach clothes up underneath her coat. Okay, she was like, listen, that heifer was like, I'm done with y'all. This what y'all gonna do me? This who y'all gonna put up in here after me? For real? Bags was packed. Bags was on the helicopter when they was leaving. Okay? Shoes came off on the helicopter. Ponytail came off. Just popped it off. Because I know I would have done it. She wasn't here for that. And you know what else, y'all? Listen, they on day 13, 14 of their vacation. And if I was them, I would give a solid month, if not 3. I would be so gone. Do you hear me? I would be so gone. Like, I wish y'all would try to call me. Wish y'all would. Wish you would. I wish you would. Okay? And then I'd have the nerve to get on Periscope. I'm so rude. I'd be so rude, y'all. I would get on Periscope and scope and tell y'all to leave me alone. Hey, y'all, it be the flamingos behind me. The flamingos that Branson done bought and shipped in. Okay, they be all behind me like this. Just doop, boopity boop, boop, boop. And I'd be like this. I get on the camera and be like, listen, y'all. Okay? Yes, we did. Yes, we can. Yes, we did. I'm going to check y'all in 2018. Okay? Click. And then I just off the Periscope. Deuces, suckers. I probably have a drink. I'll be two-fisting it. With a little umbrella in it. Some random person just pouring alcohol while I'm talking to y'all. Listen, y'all. Okay? I deserve this vacation. Do you hear me? Okay. Y'all don't call me. New phone, who this?
Celeste said big here, damn. Energy. I know that's right. Okay. So, first of all, I had said that she really didn't do her hair for the first inauguration, and every Black girl knew what that meant. We knew it. That's why the video had went viral on Facebook. I don't know how many numbers. It had numbers for days. Also, Celeste said, look at baby Rushni. Full disclosure, I was in the middle of doing a master cleanse video in this room. My camera died. I went out on the landing. That's why I have the 2 cups, because those are the master cleanse cups of my drink. And I just was on Periscope. That's to show you how long ago that was. And I clipped it out of a Periscope, hence me saying Periscope. Okay. At the time, I had a family member think that I was making fun of Michelle and her hair. And that is not what I was doing, okay? I was reading the room. I was reading the message, okay? I was living within the context of Black womanhood and what I felt, okay? She was saying loud and clear to me. I don't know if she was saying it to anybody else, but she was saying it loud and clear to me back then. And now she kind of don't care. Now she's saying it out her mouth. What she been saying with her hair, and her clothes and her choices. Now she's saying it out her mouth, but we gonna get there. I got the clips, you guys. I got the clips. Okay, then you ready for this? I said it's gonna be back down memory lane. Then in 2021, when Biden won the election and -45 lost, remember that? It was a time, okay? I rolled up again, and this time I did a whole video for you guys, not just about her hair, but about her entire look, and also what I thought that was saying to us. Yes, I'm about to play it for you. Roll that beautiful Glamazini bean footage. Let's do it. Fun fact, 4 years dropped my Michelle Obama inauguration. Y'all are some bossy people, okay? Inauguration dropped. And y'all was like, where is my video? Fun fact, 4 years ago when I dropped my Michelle Obama inauguration outfit video, it was 2 weeks after the inauguration. I checked the date. Y'all, listen, we in a pandemic. It's a whole panorama. I'm supposed to be getting my son ready for virtual school, but the way his speech language therapist decided she was not going to show up, and I decided neither were we. Let's do it. In the good year of our Lord 2017, 2 weeks after the inauguration, I put up a video saying that Michelle Obama didn't do her hair for the inauguration. Why? Let's flash back to her look for the inauguration of our previous president, D-45T. And as any Black girl can tell, okay, this is the low effort look. Now, I had a family member tell me that I was making fun of Michelle Obama, and I don't think I was. I think I was just stating what she was telling us to all of you, which is every Black girl knows that when we don't make an effort, we don't give a fuck. I didn't say it. Fast forward to the good year of our Lord, January 20th, 2021, which was just a few days ago, by the way. Y'all don't rush me. I got stuff to do, okay? She proved me right. I don't know if Shelly saw my video, and if she did, hey girl, all right, you killed us. But let's just have a moment of silence for the belt buckleness. I just, y'all ain't gonna tell me that she was not trying to send us subliminal messages. Okay, subliminal. Girl, we heard you, all right? We heard you loud and clear. Well, stomach is on flat. Shelly. This whole monochrome Attical situation that she did to us, this heifer showed up to the inauguration looking like a whole glass of Merlot. And I ain't mad at her, all right? Because there was something to celebrate. I felt celebratory, didn't you? The belt buckle is the bat signal. It is her way of saying, I'm here. I am Michelle.
watch me roar. The craftsmanship, the quality. I heard that the whole look is a Black designer. I'll put their name on the screen. All right. And it's just the perfect everything. The texture of the turtleneck, the fit of the pants, the flow when she's walking, the belt buckle, the perfect high-waisted stomach on flat. Michelle, help me, girl, because this pandemic got me out here round across the center. And then this like floor length, girl, coat. This floor length coat. I don't know how tall you are, Michelle. I'm 6'1", and I saw somebody on my timeline say that when they become tall and thin, they're gonna wear this outfit. And I was like, hell, I'm tall and thin-ish. And I'm gonna need somebody to knock. I don't have the money for the designer version, but listen, I don't go anywhere. But if I was going somewhere, this is what I would look like. And I just want to point this out. Full face makeup beat. Makeup face beat, face beat. Fake eyelashes face beat. Into submission. Okay? Which was her way of saying, we back. And we gonna make it better. With her lashes. That's what she was telling us, with her lashes. Somebody went into the crease. Eyebrows were perfected. But let's talk about her hair. And then I gotta get my son ready. Last time I was distressed about her hair because I knew she didn't want none of these problems. She wanted to get onto the helicopter, kick off her shoes, and she wanted to go cop back on a beach in the Virgin Islands, which is what the woman did. But listen, on today, well, on the 20th, she showed up, perfected. Hello, barrel curls ablazing. Highlights. Did y'all see the highlights? And that perfect flip in the front with the staying power of God himself was tantamount to a middle finger. Tell me you didn't see it. I felt like that's what it said to me. That flip in the front that was unmoving, unwavering, never shaking. Okay? And every barrel curl in the back was just cussing as she went. All right? Them suckers bounced and moved. I barely noticed that Obama was there. I see you, Barry, but I barely saw you. Okay? The girl just showed up. Now, granted, Kamala's there. She cute. Okay? Hey, girl, hey, you look just like my aunt. And I've never in my life thought I was going to live to see somebody who looks just like my aunt as our vice president. Girl. And you was cute. Your hair was cute, too. Okay? Your little monochromatics and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, the people want me to talk on Michelle. So that's why we're here on today. All right? But trust me, if you ever slay us to the gods, it's going to be a video about you too, boo. Because I like you. Jill, I see you. Monochromatic with the matching mask. Did y'all notice that there was iridescence? Okay? Jill was giving us iridescence in her coat. She came into the light and the light came into her. I gotta go get the kid ready. In closing, somebody pointed out that our previous First Lady has been serving us looks for years. And me myself personally, flipped through a few pictures of her. Connected to trash, enabling trash, just trash behaviors and choices all around. But when it came to her looks, we just never would give it to her, okay? And I'm not gonna give it to her now. That's it. I gotta go get the kid. Don't rush me. Here's your pineapple. Bye, y'all.
Spoiler, Michelle never called me. I don't understand, okay? I did several other videos about her in that time frame. Let me say this to you guys before we move on. Do you guys see how different those videos were? Not just in quality, but in like attention span. And the 2025 version of us expects the video to be so much shorter. We had longer attention spans. Both of those videos did massive numbers across platforms. And nowadays they seem kind of long. Isn't that fascinating? Anyway, I watch the videos and I'm like, huh, I've been saying this the whole time. And now Michelle is saying it out her mouth. Let's talk about it. So, fast forward now to the year of our good Lord 2025. And Michelle Obama sat down with Tracee Ellis Ross on her YouTube channel to have a live conversation about beauty and culture and confidence and outfits and choices, etc., because she's promoting her new book. The book is called The Look. She's talking in her book apparently about beauty standards, about politics, about the choices she made with her outfits and her hair and her image as the first lady, right? And so I went ahead and I watched the whole video. And if you want to watch the whole, did I put the link in the information box? I may have forgotten to, but if you want to, go to Michelle Obama's YouTube page and it's the video with Tracee Ellis Ross, and I will come back and put a link to the whole video so you go watch it, okay, in the description of the video, wherever you're watching. But for now, I want to focus on a couple clips from that episode because one, I've been saying all this, okay, and now she's saying it, and I just want y'all to see. And two, the internet had went and lost its mind about something she said. Let me see what Celeste is saying. Celeste said, I've never seen my old videos before the post-production. Yeah, you know what's funny, Celeste? So I had a person I did a collaboration video with on Stephanie Perry's channel. And she and I talked like Zoom. We talked on camera. We did the whole thing. And then she watched the video of me later on somebody else's channel. And I mentioned, oh, yeah, I had a video go viral and it was about how to cut a mango. And she inboxes me on WhatsApp, I believe. And she wrote me and she goes, Rashni, that's you? And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, the how to cut a mango video that had like millions of views on Facebook. That was you? And I was like, yeah. And I went and I grabbed it and tossed it. And she looked at it and she was like, girl, I've been talking to you this whole time and I didn't know you were the chick on the viral video. Listen, I'm evolving, okay? But there was a time, you guys, when I had the nervous system capacity and the space in my life to be out here acting up, okay? And we might get back to that time right now, but we're not there yet. But yeah, girl, that video, listen, that was me. I was sitting right here in the same spot, okay? So anyway, let me play the first clip of Michelle talking to Tracee Ellis Ross, and then we will come back. For some reason, when I click play, it's not playing the clip that I click on originally. So please forgive me, you guys. Okay, I'm working with technology here. This is the clip that everybody's been talking about.
Straight hair. And I also grew my relaxer out, people. I mean, that was, that was the thing. It's like, I don't even really need a relaxer. What are we doing? My girls, we had that little relaxer for a minute. I stopped relaxing their hair. So we learned about hair care. We learned about hair health because I had two technicians that cared. And the truth is, the bangs, you know why I wore bangs? I read about it, to give my edges a break, y'all. That was the one thing. It was like, to stop pulling my hair back, we put the bangs in. I mean, it was a practical.
The Crown Act was not introduced until after you left the White House. Fascinating. The natural hair movement began to take off during your White House years, but you stayed with straight hair. It was 2 months after you left the White House that the world saw your natural hair and some pictures of you on vacation. Can you talk about the freedom that you've experienced post-White House, both with your hair and in your style?
I love having a team, but I have to learn how to live without a team, because that's the other thing, that we become captive to our teams, to our hairstylists. Like, don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. You know, there are people that won't pay the rent because they are gonna go get their hair done, right? And I couldn't solely rely on having these young people fly around everywhere with me, coming on vacation. It's like, we didn't have it like that. So I always had to be able, on vacation, when they weren't going to be around, to be able to do my own hair. So that was, those decisions were decisions of control for me. And I didn't grow up with a team, even though I had a team. I am a person that feels like you should do the stuff on your own, right? So I never wanted to feel captive. So I learned how to do my own makeup. I learned how to put a lash on. I learned how to do my own hair in the same way that you've said, because you can't have people with you all the time. And I knew that there was going to be life post White House, even though my team still works with me. Part of that was control. And the decision to get my hair braided was primarily a continuation of that freedom. You know, it's like a lot of people want to know, well, what do braids mean? What does she mean? Look, y'all.
What does she mean? It's
what,
great.
you know, I mean, that's how white folks are. It's like, what does that mean? What are you saying? We're saying nothing except I just don't want to have to do my hair every day. And I want to go swimming. I don't want to have to worry about it. Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't. It just is. So
First of all, Tracee, it was not 2 months when we saw her natural hair. It was 2 weeks. I just said that on the video. Maybe it was 2 months for you, but I'm from the Virgin Islands and they went to vacation in the Virgin Islands. So maybe I had intel that you did not, okay? But I had them pictures in 2 weeks after she left. That way, I had pictures of her with Branson, okay? I knew the name of the island they was on, okay? But that might just be because I'm a Virgin Islander, right? The second thing is, there were a couple things. There was something in there she said that I don't necessarily agree with, and there was something I heard somebody else say they don't agree with. So my first thing that I don't agree with is when she said, braids are for y'all, meaning white people, so we can do the work. But listen, we're all on a journey, okay? I just had to say that. I just had to say that aloud. But I do think that even though she said the braids and the hairstyles don't mean anything, I actually think a contraire. Is that how you say that? A contraire? I'm trying to be fancy. You know what I mean. I actually disagree with that. I think they mean something. And then she said what they meant. So I think what she was trying to say was stop trying to read into it if you don't have the cultural context to read into it. But because we have the cultural context, we understand, okay? Black women, especially in our lived experience. First of all, she said that our hair comes out of our head in a naturally curly state, right? It don't come out our hair in a silk press. Contraire. Contraire, Celeste. This is why I took Spanish. I don't know. Okay. What? Espanol. Let me stick to the languages that I actually know how to pronounce. Because I don't, what? All right. Our hair grows up, it grows out, it grows all about. Okay. For most of us, the majority of Black women, our hair does not come out of our head down and flat. I did see another YouTuber, Ostefco, do a video about this topic, and she said that she was not too keen on the choice of the word curly because of her lived experience of never being a Black woman with hair that was described as curly. I do understand what Michelle's saying, though. Many of us have various hair patterns on our head, and if you pull a strand of hair off different parts of our hair, there is a chance that you're going to see a strand that has that loopy pattern that we call curly. And in the the mass of hair that we have, those curls are not clumped and they're so small, so it's perceived differently. However, that particular YouTuber was pointing out the fact that that is not the case for everyone. And there are people who don't have that loopy pattern. And so therefore, the experience of a curly natural and the experience of a zigzag non-curly, like a 4B, 4C girly is entirely different. And Black women, we understand that. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, this video might be an example of what I'm about to talk about later with the girl that came on Threads. Okay, the girl that came on Threads. Second thing Michelle said that was really great was when we straighten our hair, we straighten in our hair to match white beauty standards and we get trapped. Now, we're going to talk about the idea that we're not with somebody who came and said what they said, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. But for right now, she ain't lying. You ain't gonna tell me that as a Black woman living your life at some point in your life, trying to keep your hair straight, you haven't felt trapped. That's the word Michelle used. Trapped by weather. She said it. Trapped by avoidance of water, so your hair doesn't revert and you get to have the style. Trapped by sweat. Me, I sweat in my head. Decisions on how to get to the gym. Your health is in peril, right? I knew people who wouldn't move to a different city or place because they didn't want to change hairdressers. So now your location is affixed to your hair. Trapped by how professional you think you got to look to keep the job. And if you tell me that that's not your experience, I believe you, but also it means that you might be detached from the communal experience, which I'm going to go into a little bit more. Third thing Michelle said is braids is an opportunity to rest and focus. I did not agree with her saying that it was an opportunity for us to do more white people work. Michelle. Listen, she's deprogramming too, and we're all watching her do it in front of us beautifully. And we can all understand none of us, that's what I wanted to say, not we can all. The total opposite. None of us understands what it was like to be in that position. This woman was the first Black first lady of the United States. And especially in 2025, in watching my old videos and not realizing what this country was actually about to do to us and where we are in 2025, there's a lot of unprogramming that has to happen for every single one of us, her included. So I did not like that part of it. And maybe one day she'll get to realizing that then braids don't have nothing to do with that. But for now, for her, that's what she said. I believe that braids are for us to rest, right? Personally, I got these braids on my head. They got to come down, but do y'all see them? They still up there, okay? And it's winter time, and I got 6 more bags of the exact same crochet hair. I already told my stylist we're running it back. So when y'all start to see parts show back up in a couple weeks of the same hairstyle, okay, let's all focus on me resting. Let's all focus on chilling out. I like to be able to live my life without having to process what my hair gonna look like when I wake up in the morning. I'm this close to going back to the locks. Y'all remember I had them locks up there? Best decision I ever made. Okay. But then Michelle asked us a question. She's like, why do we even need a law to tell white people to get out our hair? She had that on her chest for a long time, right? And if you don't know what Michelle's talking about, there is a law. It's called the Crown Act. The Crown Act is literally a law that exists because Black people kept getting punished for the way our hair grows out of our heads. Schools were sending Black children home because they were wearing locks and braids. Companies were denying promotions and even firing people who were wearing afros and twists and other protective styles. The Crown Act was signed into law in California in 2019, you guys. 2019, and it did not get signed at the federal level until 2022. We in 2025. 3 years ago, a law was passed to tell people, white people, because it's about our hair, to legally stop discriminating about our hair texture and our styles. In other words, 3 years ago, 2022, it became illegal finally to treat Black people differently because our hair doesn't fit white beauty standards. And that's why Michelle had to ask that question. Why we got to have a law to tell y'all to stay out our hair? You could tell she was kind of sick of it. Okay, she getting to I'm sick of y'all point in her podcast and stuff where she just stuff just falling out her mouth that she been quiet on this whole time. That's why I named this the freedom to stop performing. And also for the record, later in the video, she said a few things about her fashion choices that made me chuckle. Let me play that for you too. I'm gonna play this for you, just so you could hear it, okay?
See, as I don't know what, I don't care.
There we go.
It was just beautiful. And when I put it on, it felt good. It fit like a glove. And we were being edgier. The second term, it was the last state dinner. So this dress was always also like a bye. It's like, this was like, I don't even care what you think, because guess what? We don't need no more votes. You can like it, you can not. I'm going to be sexy as I don't know what. I don't care no more.
What'd I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all? I told y'all that woman, her insides were reading to me by Chuck the Deuces. Okay, this was about the Versace dress she had on at the last state dinner, that beautiful rose gold situation. She's saying out her mouth what I told y'all she was saying the whole time, but she wasn't feeling free enough at this point to say it, right? So the difference between this choice of like, bye at the last state dinner is a sign she's saying, I don't need y'all no more. She just said it out her mouth. And then a few moments later, she at the inauguration of -45, and she's like, I know you effing lying. I told y'all. Now let's move on to this youthful woman on Threads. So on Threads, a poster decides that this comment that I showed you guys about Michelle saying that Black people are trying to adhere to the white beauty standards, and that's why we were straightening our hair and yada, 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 is her time to jump on and come for Michelle Obama. Let me find that. I have a screenshot with my own fingers. Here we go. That's not what I wanted. Every time I click it, it's the wrong thing. There we go. Let's read this together. This poster says, Chanel Coco 5, Dear Michelle Obama, newsflash. Black women do not straighten their hair because of white people's beauty standards. As a curly natural myself, for some reason, curly is capitalized. I'm not sure if that has a meaning or significance, but it is. Most Black women straighten their hair because they choose to, and it's easier to manage for them. Let's drop this narrative that we do anything for the white beauty standard. Black women are the true beauty standard. Why get on stage and say that nonsense? What? What's happening? There's a lot going on there. So let's break it down. Let's break it down, you guys. Okay, let me start with this. If your comment to our forever First Lady starts with, Dear Michelle Obama, newsflash, I already know a few things about you. I know you're young, and I know you weren't raised right. You're already losing in life. Because there are other ways to live. So let's know. So let's say, my friend. So many things are showing, and youth is one of them. Your ancestors are grieving. Next thing is, This comment is not just wrong, ridiculous, and immature and uninformed. It's actually kind of harmful, which is why I want to do this video, okay? Because we not on my watch, like Ayanla says. First thing that this poster did that I believe is harmful and that we can catch in ourselves is she fully centered herself as the only viable experience. As a curly haired natural myself, which means I am the authority on this and I'm gonna put it out here, Miss First Lady, like you know what you're talking about. Wait, what? Does somebody say something? I said what? You said it turns out the thread. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that, okay? And that's why I'm trying to help y'all, okay? Not on my watch. Don't be listening to my content and thinking that that's okay to do. Don't do it, okay? She doesn't say, this has not been my experience, but I know it's true for many Black women. She'd come in talking about newsflash, Michelle Obama. First of all, Michelle Obama, newsflash. As in, I'm ignorant of or willing to fully override histories, aunties, ancestors, grandmothers, the first lady, and the laws to post up on this platform my own little personal bubble experience as the collective lived experience and correct the first lady. The former first lady, but still the first lady in my brain because I can't, okay? I'm still in a dissociative fugue about what the hell happened after that. What's going on? Y'all, that is not confidence. That is isolation. That is youth. That's youth. That's her saying with her whole entire chest, I am not around a lot of other Black women. And if I am so self-focused that I don't even know what their lived experiences are. Side note, I didn't check her profile because who has the time? Okay, I got too many other things going on in my life. But I did watch another video by Ostef Cole on YouTube, and she said that she did check her profile because she had the time. And she went down the little rabbit hole to see who was talking. And this woman is a purveyor of an owner, okay, a grower of a looser curly hair texture. The type of hair texture that back in the day, all you got to do is throw up 3 videos with a ring light on YouTube and you have 100,000 people, okay? That GP loose hair texture version, this, right? This is not my real hair texture. This is a few bags off of Amazon, my favorite crochet braid style, okay? She has that on her own. So that this lady apparently has that looser curly hair texture. And the YouTuber that I listened to said that's why she didn't like the fact that Michelle said curly, because not everybody with curly hair jumping and talking, and curly and coily and zigzag hair people have entirely different experiences. Okay. Laws are being passed about the zigzag people. Okay. I can't even say the zigzag because up here in the front of my hair is, listen, this is not an old school Glamazini, but I got a whole different texture. The zigzags are down here, right? So the lady who made this comment is a looser curl pattern grower. That's what she said. I don't know. I didn't check. Right. So that partially could account for some of her ignorance and boldness about what could even be growing out of Michelle Obama's scalp. I mean, if you look at Michelle's edges, you could see that Michelle is she got something like this going on. Something like this going on here, man. So I don't really know though in 2025 how you could be ignorant. There's so much information everywhere, but hey, listen, some people don't observe and some people do not participate in community, right? We're getting to that, Celeste. I'm gonna get back to what you said about when she had to research, right? I'm gonna get to what you said to Maya. Let me make sure I'm starring this stuff because y'all ahead of me. Okay, this is what I'm saying. The collective understands certain things and there's safety in community. I'm not saying that you can't have your own lived experience, but if your own lived experience is not the experience of the others, you should know that too. And I'm going to talk about that too, because I have an example of the fact that my own lived experience is not the experience of everyone else in the community. But how you going to kick in the door like that Big Bird meme talking about Michelle Obama newsflash? Ma'am, if you don't sit down somewhere, second, Saying that, quote, most Black women straighten their hair because they choose to and it's easier to manage is wild work to me. Now, granted, I breathe in on 50s next. I am solid Gen X, okay? So I have been here. I was birthed when, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. And I have very, very mild recollections of that situation. Then we dipped into like this relaxer heavy, coiffed, Nancy Reagan looking hair. And right, like so, and I participate. So I just have a different thought process than this young lady who we did figure out was younger. She's like in her 30s, right? Like early 30s, I think. Once again, I didn't research it on my own because who has the time? So I don't know. But that's wild work because, girl, we do choose. I mean, it's not like somebody's at our house forcing us to wear our hair a certain way in 2025. We understand that, right? We choose to wear our hair in whatever style we choose to wear our hair in. But it's not a choice made from an entirely blank canvas with no foundational underpinnings. It's a choice inside of a system that we inherited. It's a choice where jobs were writing women up for having braids, right? And you want to keep your job. It's a choice where schools were sending kids home for having locks. And you want your kid to have an education. It's a choice where, churches are telling us that afros are unkept, right? I personally, myself, corporate America rushed me back in the day. I had gotten a fresh set of braids and we had to go for drug testing. Like everyone in the organization had to go for drug testing. And until then, my hair, before that, every time we had to do the cyclical drug testing, my hair was straight. And so they could go in and cut out monstrous plugs. I mean, they would just have out monstrous plugs in my hair. This particular time I had braids in my hair and the person looked me full in my face and told me I should know better than to have braids in my hair because I'm gonna have to get drug tested. So they're gonna cut out a braid. You want to talk about trying to get fought in the face by a 6'1" tall island woman? Let me tell you what the end of that story was. They did not cut out a braid out of my hair. I said, I know you effing lying in the most corporate way that I could. Talking about I should know better than to get braids. Stand down. I went and I got an exception and came back later when my hair was out of the braids. Okay. Ridiculous. So we choose because for many of us, the only choice that was modeled to us by well-meaning elders trying to keep us safe was alignment, a parallel existence to a specific beauty standard, right? We choose because not choosing it also means something. I know that because I've been not choosing it for years, right? A choice made underneath pressure is not the same as a choice made in freedom. And for some reason, that poster didn't understand that. Third thing is, she says, let's drop the narrative that we do anything for the white beauty standard. Oh, girl. Okay, my God, on today. What planet does a Black woman have to be on? It actually makes me grieved, okay? It makes me think of that all skin folk ain't kinfolk thing that Dr. Kamani's always talking about. Is she not American? Yeah, I didn't research her too much. I went out there, grabbed her screenshot, and came out. I don't have time. Was she not American or something? Is something else going on with her? Like, was she raised in wealth or privilege outside of Black culture? What would make a Black woman that confident to say something that wrong and strong, as we say in the Virgin Islands? Like something so wrong, so boldly not correct. In a weird way, I am like impressed by the delusion of it all. Like, I love a good Delulu. Like she was on her own planet. And instead of having that thought and going about her day and like going to, pick up her pickup order at Walmart, she decided to like grab her phone and type it out. Something about that is impressively delusional to me. It's wrong, but it's delusional. You know why? Because history books are screaming at this woman. The Crown Act literally exists. Remember, they passed that joker 3 years ago because Black kids were being kicked out of their classrooms, and adults were being denied jobs and promotions because of how their hair was growing out of their head. So telling us to drop the narrative that we do anything for the white beauty standard is wild work. When I heard her say she wasn't doing, we don't do anything for the white beauty, that thing is she was talking for all of us. Girl, what? When I heard her say that, what I heard her say is, I've never had to think about that. I'm not in community with anybody who has to think about that. I'm also not interested in anybody who has had to think about that. I don't want to learn from what those people have to say. My experience is the experience. And now let's talk about what Celeste said here. And when she had to research who Arie is, I knew, my God, on today. So not only did this woman disrespect Chicago, Michelle Obama, Arie, Miss I Am Not My Hair, also replied to this woman in the comments. And instead of being willing to learn and listen, which I've pointed out is not this woman's way of entering the world, the conversation, she told India she didn't know who she was. I had to look you up, which proves my suspicion about her obliviousness, her youth, her lack of desire to understand the lived experience of others, and her general lack of what we call in the Virgin Islands, bratopsy. I think y'all call it home training up here. Because now you saying dumb stuff to Michelle Obama and India Arie. And I'm not saying Michelle and India are above reproach. I'm just saying on a random Wednesday? Anyway, India, I went in the comments to read it, but I didn't have time to screenshot the whole thing. So y'all have to go out there, okay? I went in, I looked, but this was my favorite thing. This was India's, I think this was her last post to India, or India's last post to her, right? Eventually, when India realized this child was hard-headed and she wasn't listening, okay? This child wasn't here trying to learn. Amen. Thank you all for tagging me. I want to thank everybody in these comments who is trying to educate this woman. I did my 25-year bid of trying to help people awaken. I know that's right, India. I did some years too. You be trying to help people, and you got to the only people you can help is people who want to be helped, right? If you're talking to a person that they don't want to be helped, you got to let your hands off of them. Continue. She said, maybe the path we laid made it too easy to walk down. I felt that thing. Hey, wait a minute. But I'm going to thank y'all for doing this work. As far as I'm concerned, she can be rude and miseducated in peace. And I too will remain in peace. She'll learn when she learns. I guess it won't be today. Y'all, that whole thing where she said, maybe the path we laid made it too easy to walk down. My God, on today. Two things came to mind. Jackie Aina. I've been following Jackie Aina on the internet for years. I see people dragging Jackie all up and down on TikTok every once in a while. And in my mind, I'd be watching them videos thinking the only reason you have the platform to drag Jackie Aina is because Jackie Aina laid the path for you when nobody was doing it except her. Imagine somebody being the trailblazer, cutting the path for you to walk down, and now you on the path talking bad about them. Once again, I'm not saying people are above reproach. I'm just saying the ignorance of history is wild work to me. Also, there was a young woman on TikTok recently that had a video that was saying, like, it was directed to older women. She was younger, and she was asking the question of, like, older women, why is it that y'all are mad at us when older men want us? Is it because y'all are jealous? Is it this? Is it that? Is it the other? And I was like, and I commented and said, you know what? Some lessons are only learned by experience. Let her be. Tis comme de la comme in the Virgin Islands is what we say, right? India Arie said that. India Arie said, let me put India's thing back up here, okay? Because India turned 50 this year. I looked it up. A month ago, India turned 50. And I'm gonna turn 50 next year. Who has the time I'm not spending a bunch of time trying to impart wisdom to you when you don't want this good wisdom. If you don't want the shortcut, then take the long route, sweetie. Okay. She said, she said maybe the path we laid made it too easy to walk down. But I'm going to thank y'all for doing this work. She's like, listen, I ain't doing it no more. Good luck. I'm 25 years. I did my time. As far as I'm concerned, she can be rude and miseducated in peace. I need y'all to learn. I don't know who said this. Wisdom is the principal thing. Everybody watching my video, don't you dare do the labor for somebody that don't want it. Okay, somebody got to want to be free. Okay, they got to want to stop performing. They got to want to understand the lived experience of the collective group. Okay. Maya said, Pastor Arie said a word. She listened. I said, I understand exactly what you're saying. That must be something about turning 50 where you just take your hands off and say, listen, I tried. We all tried. There was a whole thread. Like she might still have it out there. I saw it. There was a whole thread of people like trying to tell this woman, like, you kind of wrong in a big, wild way. Right? You know how Black women are. We come to each other in a way that's collective. We are communal beings. And she was just doubling and tripling. She was fighting for her whole life. And when I saw her fighting for her life, I thought, oh, she's not aware of Black culture. She don't even know what we're doing. Not me, because I'm after the fact. Okay, I'm a spectator. Okay. Anyway, the Threads poster, she got rude with Michelle. She got rude with India. At that point, it was clear to me it was not about a sincere question. She asked a question in there, but there was no question. And it's about the nuance of it's understanding that centering your lived experience when it's not the lived experience of the collective, and then doubling and tripling down shows an inability to care about learning that the mass group of people that you say you're representing are having an entirely different dynamic experience than you. Somehow she's outside of it. I don't know how. But we can all learn from this, right? Because even if you don't have the collective group experience, there is a way to do it. I don't know how, because it seemed like people gave her multiple points of entry and she didn't want them. Okay. And that's the problem that I want to point out. Your personal comfort and your lived experience cannot sit on top of other people's collective pain and their lived experience. You can't tell, you can't think that the elders that are trying to talk to you and the collective group of people that are trying to come to you are talking nonsense to you and being negative, right? There's a girl going viral on TikTok right now. I haven't watched her videos, but I've gotten contextual clues from everybody. There's something called like Danish deception, and she's making a Black girl making videos, and apparently she's a Black girl that's in a lot of white spaces. And I guess she made some videos after that saying like, my videos are not being accepted because Black people don't like me. And there's some tokenism stuff going on. Sometimes people aren't coming for you, quote unquote, because they're like negative. Sometimes people are trying to help you correct. And maybe you just don't know that, you know? Maybe Maya said the Thread poster cares more about clicks than consciousness. Yeah, I read through what she was writing and I was just like, I mean, good luck. Listen, I got enough stuff going on in my world. Okay, I got enough stuff. What Michelle Obama was talking about was not just our hair. She was talking about respectability politics, right? For 8 years, that woman's hair, her clothes, her body. Remember, they were talking about her arms, her tone. Everything was policed under a microscope as the first Black first lady. And she was making conscious choices. I watched the whole interview with Tracee to stay perceived as a certain thing so that the focus could be on the work and not on her, right? She knew that she had to stay like what was perceived as neat for white beauty standards and what was perceived as smooth and together for what she says it in the interview with Tracee, right? She had to stay appropriate so she could get in the door and hold the door open for other people. And this was a conscious choice. And she talks about how she's going to talk about this in the book, right? And then after that, the country turned around and gave the job to chaos. Anyway, And that's when you saw the shift in Michelle. You started seeing the ponytail at the inauguration when she was like, I know you effing lying. You started seeing her curls popping out on an island vacation. You started seeing inklings of freedom and almost like inklings of now I get to express myself. Now I'm not going to be as much under the microscope, right? So her hair, I know she said our hair isn't telling us anything, but then right after that, she said the stuff that our hair was telling and whatever. Her hair has actually been telling us stuff for years in my mind. She's started to move from making choices to stay in a certain beauty standard so that she could actually focus on the work of being the first lady to moving to I'm not performing for your comfort anymore. That's what she said in that last video with the dress choice, right? That's why we see her doing stuff. Like if you've watched Michelle, I have a few pictures of her. This is not this was one I just put on the thumbnail, but I mean, look at her. We're back. Do you remember when we first started seeing Michelle look like this? We were all like, whoa, now this is just Tuesday. I saw Michelle getting photographed by Annie Leibovitz this week, and she had, I think it was like micro braids. It was like blowing in the wind, braided, twisted, denim wearing, cute out like non-first lady wearing outfit Michelle is a common thing. And think about it. How many first ladies have you seen after their husbands get out of office switch up their style as much as this woman has? Did you see Nancy Reagan switch it up? Did you see Jill change it up? It's almost like Michelle settled back to herself. And now she's developing a style. And this is more her true self. It's like her true form. This person I got on the screen is her true form. Okay? Do y'all see it? I see it. Okay. And all I have to say is, I told you guys. The old version of Rushni told you guys. She said that she intentionally wore braids to the unveiling ceremony of the portraits of the White House, their official White House portraits in 2022. She didn't wear braids in the portrait, but she wore braids to the unveiling ceremony. I looked it up. This is her at the unveiling ceremony. She is wearing like really small braids, right? They're unveiling a picture of her with straight hair that was painted, right? But these are braids in like a swoop and a bun. Michelle said, I did this intentionally because she knew that this was part of history, right? That's not a random thing. She's being very intentional. That's her naming the thing that many of us have lived, that some of us now have to straighten our hair, not just because we like it, right? The history of our hair having to be straight all the time did not begin with us. This is a story that we all were born into. It's existed before we got here. And so acting like it's a non-thing makes absolutely no sense. Anyone who says otherwise to you in your lived experience, I don't know how they did it. How are they so outside of this, right? They're outside of the experience of race and gender. They're oblivious and they might be a bit self-centered or lack the interest of understanding the collective experience of the group that they are talking for, as well as choosing to participate in it when they are given an on-ramp, which is what we saw. So as a cautionary tale, the only thing I would say is don't be the lady on Threads. Okay, my next thought. My personal experience is I have worn my hair in many ways, all the ways that you can imagine. I wore my hair natural when I was a child. Very early in my life, I started getting relaxers. I had a Dominican lady named Gloria, who I used to go to her house and get my hair relaxed in the Virgin Islands. My hair, I've worn wigs. These are crochet braids. I've worn individual braids. I've worn my own personal hair long because my hair does get very long. I've worn my hair short. I've worn my hair colored like once, barely. Y'all have never seen that. That was college. I have worn my hair bald. Okay, I grow it back, I cut it off. It's a whole smorgasbord over here. I'm Glamazini. Hello? Okay, before I was doing all this healing stuff, I was out here talking to y'all about my hair, right? This is why, okay, so let me go here. When I was younger, straight hair was the only choice that I really was given. It was the neutral choice that I was told. It was modeled for me. The women, only young people had natural hair. And like the older you get, it was almost like a rite of passage, right? So it was almost expected of me to get my hair straight at a certain age. And I don't remember when I first got my hair straight, but I'm going to guess like preteen years is when I got my first relaxer. I'm going to guess. I don't remember. Then I tried to stop straightening my hair around age like 18 or 19 when I was going to college. But I was told that if I stopped straightening my hair, the funding of my college would be retracted. The actual quote was, "And come home to whose house?" So because I'm not stupid, I kept straightening my hair until I could fund my own life. And the minute I graduated from college and had my own job and my own income, I walked away from a relaxer and I never went back. Now, I am one of the original women who started the natural hair movement here online, especially on YouTube. Yeah. I was on the internet with my little camera, showing off my twist outs, even before YouTube, but then eventually on YouTube, right, on other forums. And after decades of doing this kind of work in front of the scenes, like my platforms were about hair, and then now like behind the scenes, like I don't really do a lot of content about hair anymore, but I mean, it is part of my foundation, right? I can tell you something that might actually surprise a lot of you. I have learned over the years of having hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of conversations with women, Black women about their hair, that I hold a whole lot less shame around my hair than most of the Black women that I meet and talk to. I have had more courage and confidence about my hair in that area, not because I'm special by any way, but because I don't know. I've just been swimming in the conversation all these years. And for some reason, my unique mix of life and lived experience created me a person who has kind of loved her natural hair all these years without shame, went natural real early and ain't going back. I can't go back, right? I'm not saying I would never wear my hair straight. I'm just saying I would never straighten my natural hair. Okay. If you see me with straight hair on my head, I bought it. Okay. That said, I never once, never once, one single year of my life spent any time centering that experience on my platforms. Because that experience is a privilege and it's rare. For many of the women who have followed me, especially from back in the day when I was talking about hair, this might actually be the first time you've heard me articulate that part of my story, because I never felt like it was important to articulate that part of my story, because it was not the common experience and that was not the point. To what end? Could you imagine if I jumped out here and I was just like, everybody should love their hair just like me? What's wrong with y'all? That's ridiculous. That's why that girl's post was ridiculous. I believe that when you carry a certain level of quote unquote, what could be seen as privilege, in my case, the privilege to be able to break out of a straight hair box much earlier than most with less shame and less effort, then you could use that privilege for good. You could use it to amplify the experience of the collective and create change and acceptance and belonging, not argue for your own lived experience bubble. So that's what I've been doing out here all these years, like back in the day. Okay. I didn't come out here telling y'all like, I'm fine with it. Y'all should be fine with it. I never tell me, you ain't never heard me say that. Okay. I've always tried to point back to the history of it, the pain, the true story of the majority of the collective of Black women, right? Not to shame anybody who has straight hair, wigs, weaves, all of that, because I love it. I love how Black women wear their hair. I wear it too. The only thing I care about is why you wearing your hair like that. That's all I care about. It's not the style you got on your head. Your hair could be blonde and straight. I really could care less, okay? I'm more concerned about the story than the style, the history, the psychology behind why you might feel trapped by your hair. And I feel like that's what Michelle was alluding to on the stage. I feel like that's what Tracee underscored in her questioning. I feel like that's what Arie was trying to remind that young woman about on Threads, or introduce that young woman to for the first time. It's what the rest of us have been saying, right? It's not about just preference with our hair. We're talking about a pattern of choice that is shaped by deep historical underpinnings and consequences. We're talking about history. We're talking about surviving a system, right? Celeste says, I got my first relaxer as a high school freshman, so I could manage it more easily when I joined the volleyball team. Yeah, I don't remember when, but I do know that it almost was just, there was no choice. Like, it was just like, this is going to happen next. That's how I remember my hair being relaxed. And then she says, I stopped relaxing at 23 because I was in the trap forever Flotus talked about and was tired of it. Exactly. Right. And I stopped relaxing because this part of my hair was thinning. And I looked at my family members, and all the family members that had their hair straightened and relaxed on my dad's side, not my mom's side of their hair flourishes. On my dad's side, a lot of those women's hair was thinning and they were wearing wigs and all of that. And I had one aunt that had natural hair, and her hair was thick and beautiful. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to grow out the relaxer and I'm just going to press it, because I was still going to wear my hair straight because the beauty standard was still the beauty standard. But then I got intrigued by my hair texture and I never went back. That's basically what happened. It was so cool to me, right? My whole life I was told my brother had good hair and I didn't have good hair. Turns out my brother's hair texture and my hair texture are exactly the same, and I was lied to. Okay. Anyway, that's basically the long short of that. Yeah. So let me ask you guys this question. Where are you still straightening your life? Not your hair, your life, for somebody else's gaze? That's the question I want to ask. That's why I named this Michelle Obama Natural Hair and the Freedom to Stop Performing. It could be your hair, right? I told you, my issue is not with the style. My issue is with your story. Where you trapped, boo-boo. That's what I care about. Maybe it's your voice. A little code switch. What's the percentage of your life that you're code switching? I'm not saying that we don't code switch. I also am not judging any code switching. We all do it. I'm just saying, have you created a life where the majority of your life you get to be yourself and you don't have to code switch your voice? You don't have to smooth out your voice. Maybe it's your definition of success. Straighten that out for somebody else. What about shrinking yourself so that somebody else doesn't feel threatened? Downplaying your gifts so people don't call you arrogant, which is the experience of so many Black women. We're just tired of it, right? What about the clothes you wear? Did somebody tell you that the way you want to dress is too much or too loud or too confident? You know, it's a fun thing when you get on the internet and you see these maximalist people who just wear whatever the hell they want to. And the irony is, the more unique people get, the more we allow for it. It's almost like being yourself, your loud, ridiculous, authentic self actually is the better choice, but it takes a lot of courage and confidence to get there. Where else are you straightening? I put down, are you straightening out your opinions so that you aren't labeled as angry? I'm still working on this one because I post on the internet and there are times when I want to say stuff aloud and then I don't, because I'm like, I don't feel like hearing people's mouth. But guess what? I'm gonna free myself right now because I'm about to say something aloud that I was about to post about elsewhere. And I was like, I don't feel like doing it. There are people on TikTok right now putting praise music over videos of their toddlers having tantrums, right? And I looked at those and I thought, haha, that's funny. The praise music and the toddler having tantrum looks, it looks like somebody falling out and having a praise shout situation. But then I also thought to myself, y'all don't see the correlation in that? Like, y'all don't see why a dysregulating human who is emotionally immature and does not have the capacity to communicate what's going on with them, and so they're having a full-out tantrum, looks a whole lot like this? You don't see? Okay, let me straightening. Are you hiding your grief because somebody has told you that you should be over it by now, pretending like relationships are fine when they are absolutely not? Are you straightening, right? That's what went through my head. Staying silent to keep the peace with people, tolerating microaggressions at work so that you can keep getting this check without an off-ramp. Okay. I'm not saying I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying, have a plan to get away from that foolishness. Are you shrinking yourself so that the people around you don't feel insecure? I had people in my life at one point that said that I was talking about like traveling and stuff a lot and that they thought I was showing off. And I was like, I never understood. That was years ago. And I was like, I'm not showing off. I'm traveling. I don't like if you want to if you want to talk about travel, then travel. I don't know how the showing off part got there. In my mind, I'm like, if I go to this, you see this poster back here? I took this poster off of a wall in a flamenco bar in Puerto de Santa Maria. That's why it's El Puerto de Santa Maria, Feria del Primavera. Okay? The spring festival was going to happen. I was in the bar. I like the poster. You can't see it, but there's little pieces of tape because this was on the wall. I didn't buy this. I was living. I brought it home and I had it, framed or whatever. If you want to, I'm not showing off. If you would like to go to La Feria de Primavera, you could go too. Straightening, right? Hustling nonstop so people don't think you're lazy when they see you resting. This is a good one. Are you hiding your spiritual questions so that nobody makes you feel like your doubt is rebellion? Straightening, apologizing for taking up space, dimming yourself so that other people don't feel small, shrinking your real self so that you're more acceptable, palatable, promotable, likable, dateable, safe. Brene Brown talks about the difference between belonging and fitting in. If you're listening to me on my platform, I want you to aim toward belonging, which is you get to show up as yourself and you get to belong. So it's a bunch of unique people. Fitting in is when there's a set of rules that everybody has to follow. And if you don't do that, then you're not allowed. There are a lot of spaces that we exist in that are like that. Not just our hair, but our hair is an example of it. Wherever you're straightening stuff in your life, this is the exact place where I want you to notice it and to call yourself back home. These places where you're like bending yourself and contorting yourself for approval of others, and you can make a choice to change that right now. So notice where you feel like that thing that Michelle was talking about, right? That you're trapped in your style, your hair, your expression, whatever it is. And then notice that version of you. And then realize that that version of you is not rebellion. That version of you is actually you. It's your truth. It's your authentic self. And that you get to make different choices. That's why I call it the freedom to stop performing. Celeste says, I was wearing my hair straight though, even before it was relaxed. Never knew I had a choice about that part. Yeah. I mean, part of the reason why we choose to wear our hair straight too is because unfortunately, a lot of the information about how to care for our hair was lost as well. And so wearing our hair straight could have very well been the easiest option because there weren't tools and products and knowledge that could be passed down because the tools, products, and knowledge were lost. So my mother could not tell me how to care for my natural hair. Matter of fact, my mother is still shocked about my hair right now because she has said out of her mouth before that my hair was not like that when I was a child. And I'm like, I mean, yes, and, my hair texture might not have been exactly like this when I was a child. And also, you don't have the information. You're not Glamazini, right? You just assumed my hair was bad, which is what I was told, and you straightened it. You hid it away. So this is what my healthy hair looks like, right? And I mean, no knock to her. She just didn't have the information, right? She just didn't have the information. So anyway, years ago, I joked that Michelle Obama, her ponytail and her hairpiece at the inauguration was telling us stuff. I said it was sending us subliminal message. I was joking, you guys. I was joking. Every Black woman who watched me knew that I was joking. Every Black woman who participates in the community knew that I was joking. But also every Black woman knew that I kind of wasn't. Which is why we're here in 2025 with me making a serious-ish video, okay? Now in 2025, Michelle is on stage. She's saying the quiet part out loud. She's saying we did it to survive. She's saying we tired. And she's also saying to get out our hair. Which I love. I love that for her. And I love that for us. If this video felt good to you and conversations like this resonate, I would love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Glamazzini. Share this video with anyone who loved my Michelle Obama videos, who was talking about the clip with Tracee Ellis Ross, and who is growing in her life as well. If you're ready to start your year from a place of enoughness, intention, in a group of like-minded Black women, my Create Your Life Virtual Planning Retreat cohort starts. Ooh, I have fancy stuff for you guys. I have something fancy. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. Boom. Do you see that? There's a QR code on the screen. You can boop the QR code and it'll take you to the page where you can check out, learn more information about my Create Your Life Virtual Planning Retreat, which the next cohort starts on December 12th. It starts with a week of self-paced modules, videos, audios, and 4 live Zoom calls, group calls during the week. And then after that, you get 10 months of accountability calls. If you want next year to be created from answering the question, who am I? And to start creating a life that actually, your life that actually has you in it and not just checking off things on the conveyor belt, come and join us, bit.ly/virtual planning retreat, or boop the fancy QR code. I've never done that before. Anyway, you guys, this was a good time. Hopefully you had a good time. Take care of your hair, okay? And take care of yourself. Be well, you guys. Be encouraged. Oh, let me pick it up. Don't you drop. Don't you drop. Here's a pineapple. Bye, y'all.